Hi friends, this is Anna Hellman with Scrapping, Stamping, and Stuff. Today I am going to go through this video and I do not have my projects already designed. I thought it would be helpful for you to see some of the process I go through when I'm designing cards. Now I have looked through my products, I've decided some things I want to use, and I've decided that I want to make square cards today. So I'll talk a little bit about that and how I think that makes what I'm going to be doing a little bit easier. And yeah, I'll talk through it, and hopefully as we go through, you can learn a few things and get some good ideas for some really pretty cards made with our Forever Greenery products in this year's annual catalog. I'm looking at pages 108 and 109 of the catalog, and you can see that this product suite is full of very pretty botanical prints with all different shades of green. I just love this designer paper pack. We're going to be using that. We have some really neat embellishments in this set and a really pretty stamp set called Forever Fern. This does have a gorgeous die set that coordinates with it, with each of these ferns in the stamp set. You can see it very small right here, or see it better on page 175, but we're not even going to use any of those dies today. We're going to keep these fairly simple. I'm going to go through and do a very simple one, and then we're going to step them up as we go. So like I said, we are going to make square cards today, and I'm going to start here with preparing card bases. So to get my card bases to be as wide as a standard card, 4 1/4 inches, I want to cut, I'm going to prepare 2 here at one time. So I'm going to trim this down to 8 1/2 inches. That is my excess. Now I'm going to score in the center at 4 1/4. And then I'm going to turn this the other direction, and I am going to cut. Okay, so that's a good way to prepare 2 card bases at the same time if you're making these square cards. So let's go ahead and use the bone folder on here and get those creased nicely. So with square cards, the reason I feel like they're a little bit easier is because our measurements on both directions are the same. I don't have to worry about a measurement wide and a measurement long. Most of my prints that I keep on these are going to be square, so I really only have to worry about one direction, or one measurement. So we are going to trim an assortment of pieces of square paper that I am going to have here laying here, and I can pick and choose the ones I like, the ones that look nice on the card, as I'm going through and putting the designs together. So I picked 2 prints from the Forever Greenery paper pack. We have the busier side on this side with the ferns, and then we have some more basic prints on the back. So we will probably be using some of both of those. So I want to trim these. Our cards are going to measure 4 1/4 inches. I want to trim these to 4 1/8 inches. So I'm going to create a couple of 4 1/8 inch squares. You can start with the size of your card and just trim off the same increment from both directions. So if your card measures 4 by 5 1/4, take both of those measurements and subtract, say, 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 of an inch, and that is going to give you a perfectly matted piece to lay on that card. So there's a couple that measure 4 1/4. Make sure my pieces are still lined up. You can trim a couple of sheets of paper at the same time as I am doing here. Okay, so those measure 4 1/4 inches. Now I am going to trim another strip off, and this time I am subtracting 1/4 of an inch from that measurement. We're going to go 3 7/8 on this measurement. So I got that trimmed. Now this way. 3 7/8, and we'll do another one. This way I'll have plenty of pieces. I'm going to end up with extras, but that's okay. I can either go back and make some more cards with them, or I'll just add them back to my collection of scraps from this paper pack and use them next time on another project. Okay, so I have already trimmed some more squares in Garden Green cardstock and Whisper White. So these measure 4 inches on each side and 3 3/4 inches on each side. So if you noticed, I have our cards that measure 4 1/4 inches. We went down 1/8 of an inch. These measure 4 1/8, 4 inches, 3 7/8, and 3 3/4. So these are going to mat each other really nicely. We'll just pick and choose the ones that we like and that look nice together. So I'm going to lay these out across the top here and in order so that I can see, you know, from largest to smallest. That way I can grab one from the stack that should be the right size. So we will go ahead here, and I'm going to create a very simple card first. And I don't really know what it's going to look like yet, but we will figure it out as we go. So I think I just want to use 2 pieces of paper for this one, and I want to mat my designer paper with some Garden Green, I believe. So I think that will look nice. We can put a little greeting on here and a couple embellishments, and this will just be a really nice, quick and easy card. So I am ready to attach this. I use my Seal Plus to put a couple of strips on the back there. We'll do the same thing for this designer print. I just love these ferns. I have shared a few projects already with these, and they are just so pretty. I don't think I've seen a project made with this set that isn't gorgeous. So it's a good set to add to your collection. Now, I have a few greetings here. I pulled out a couple from the Fern's stamp set. You can do this and hello. But I also know I'm getting low on Thinking of You cards. So I grabbed this Thinking of You greeting from the Blossoms in Bloom set. So we use it on at least one of them, maybe a couple. So I keep these white strips. When I cut my card front pieces, I always end up with these white strips left over. And I keep them in their own special place right below my craft table where I can grab them easily. Because a lot of times I use them for what I am doing right here, for little greetings. So I, a lot of times, don't use my trimmer for this if I'm just cutting the end off. So just trim that straight. We have our greeting. And I am going to use a selection of embellishments today. Embellishments are a really easy way to add, you know, something special to your project without having to do a lot of work. So this gold trim is actually part of the same product suite. It's in the Forever Greenery trim combo pack. You actually get a ribbon with it as well. But what I want to do is this, we could definitely put this on just like this, but just to add something a little extra, you can wind around some trim behind your greeting, and that just kind of steps it up a little, makes it pop a little bit. So there are lots of different ways to wrap these trims. I think I'm going to do this one in a circular fashion, which I am not sure I've ever done before, but hey, you got to try new things, right? You might as well do it while people are watching live. We'll make like a little bird's nest or a wreath. Okay, so I'll trim that off, and I think I like that. Now I just have to make sure when I put this on that it covers up that adhesive, because it's a little above the center of this. So if I would have done that again, I would have made it centered a little bit better. So I will put dimensionals on the back of here. Do 2 dimensionals. Stick that right there on top. And because we love sparkle, I have a couple of different gold embellishments we will use with these. So these are some of our metallic pearls. The set comes with gold and silver both. So I'll just add a couple of these. How about 3? We'll go with 3, okay? So there, that is a really simple, quick and easy Thinking of You card. And this is just a really nice card design for quick, easy cards. Pick some pretty designer paper. You can either just cut a piece that fits onto your card front or cut a little bit larger piece of cardstock to mat it behind. Add your greeting, a couple little embellishments. You have a really pretty card that did not take long to make. Now, we will create another one, but we are going to step it up a little bit. And I think on this one, what I want to do is just create some extra layers. And this one, I want to actually use my Fern stamps to stamp onto some white cardstock for the main part of the card. But I do think I am going to mat this with a couple of pieces of cardstock. So I think I might try this. Have white on the front and then have that white mat right back there in the background. So I will set this aside while I stamp some ferns onto this piece. Pull in some scrap paper here so I don't get ink on my work surface. And I did not prepare all of the fern stamps, but I have a few of them here. So I'll pull those in. And I do need a plan for this. I don't have a plan for what I want this to look like, so I better come up with one. So I could stamp ferns across the entire surface of this. I could do up one side. I could do some on the top corner and the bottom corner. I also want to think a little bit about where I might put my greeting on this. So I think what I am going to do is just a little bit at this top corner and then maybe a little bit more stamped down here on this corner. I also need to decide if I'm using one fern or lots of ferns. And I really love this one right here. So I think I am just going to stick to that one for all of this. So I have my garden green ink and I don't know how I'm doing this. So we're just going to go along and I guess I'll keep them facing the same direction instead of turning the stamp all around. Down here for this corner, I think I want to cover more. So here's this. Let's see how that looks on top of all of this. I like that. So I'll go ahead and assemble all of that together and then we'll figure out our sentiment and our embellishments. So save a little time. Sometimes I flip all of my pieces over and put adhesive on them at the same time. If you're making a group of cards, like if you're going to make 5 or 10 of the same card, this is something that can save a lot of time. Just flip all those, get all your pieces cut, flip all of them over at the same time, and then put all your adhesive on. Or if you have a helper, a lot of times I have my little helper, she just loves to put adhesive on. So she will help me with that, and then I can do the assembling. Okay, so there's that. Now I have no idea what I'm doing for the rest of this, so we will figure it out. we'll stick with the thinking of you greeting this time, I think. So I'll stamp another one of those. If you have a plan for your cards, or if you're going to make a bunch of the same one, it's a good idea to stamp all your greetings at the same time as well. That will save you some time. Looks like I got ink on my fingers. That means I'm a real stamper today. And I always keep my chamois right here to clean my stamps. It is also nice for cleaning my hands. So I'll wipe that off a little bit. That way at least I don't smear it onto my card. So what shall we do here? Should we just put a little tag? You know what? I think that will look nice just the way it is. So let's pop up the tag, and then I'll just add a couple of embellishments to this one as well. So this time I'll show you another one of our gold embellishments. These are gold glitter enamel dots. And I really like these. One of my favorite things about these is they have a low profile, so they don't stick up much from your card. And that way they're very easy to mail. You don't have to worry about anything getting damaged in the mail. To get these off of the sheet, I'm actually pushing back on this plastic, and that helps. It kind of keeps the gold dot in place, but I'm still able to get my scissors underneath. Okay, so now we have two thinking of you cards. So for these other ones, maybe I'll switch up my greeting and use one of the ones from this Fern set. Okay, so now I'm not exactly sure where we're headed. It's a little scary. I'm like making cards live and I have no idea what I'm doing. So thanks for following along, bearing with me. Now, I decided beforehand I wanted to use one of these gold hoops embellishments. These are part of this product suite and they're really pretty. I've used them a couple of times and I just love how it turns out on the projects I've used them on. So I decided I wanted to use one of those. I also want to use some of these. These are in good taste elements, these little wood elements, and they're so pretty. And I decided that I could make a pretty little wreath with this hoop and these little elements. I just need to decide what is going behind all of this. So, and then figure out how to put it together, of course, because I don't really know. So I'm thinking maybe one of these more toned down prints would be good for the background. And I'm not sure if I want plain cardstock behind. So we'll do what I do when you're not watching along and just start playing around with this. So I'll try some different combinations. So I'll lay this here. How do I like how that looks on it? Well, I'm not sure. Maybe it would look better if the green was matted behind the designer print. So then I'll flip it around. Even though these sizes don't match up, it doesn't matter. I just look at it this way and think like, okay, well, do I like how that looks? Yeah, I think I like that a little bit better. Now, what about this print? I don't know. Now I'm going to say that one's a little bit busier though when I'm going for. So I do think I like this print behind the wreath. Now I just have to decide how I want to mat it. So at this point, I think my sizes are getting mixed up, but we will figure it out. So this works right here. And I think that will be nice. So I'll go ahead and attach these pieces on, get them in place, and then we can play around with the hoop and the little wood elements and figure out what in the world we are going to do with those. I would love to see some of the things you've been creating with this set. I know this has been a very popular set. A lot of you have added this to your collections. I would love to see some of the things you're creating out there with it. So now, when I go to assemble things, I always think like, okay, so how's this going to look best? So in the center is an easy option, but I'm wondering like, well, what would it look like if it's off center? And you know what? While I'm thinking about it, I better make sure. It's always good to check to make sure your card is going to open the way you think it's going to. With these square ones, doesn't matter. It could open this way or it could open down. And I think I'll switch it just for fun. So do I want this down here? Do I want it in the center? I think we'll stick with the center. We'll go with that. You can't go wrong with the center, right? Now I don't know which of these wood elements I want to include, so I will pop some of them out, see how they look. Ooh, I like that. So there's the moment. You have those moments too, right? Where it starts coming together. I have to tell you, some of my projects that I make that end up looking really neat in the middle of them, I'm looking at them like, what is going on here? Like, this is not working. And then you get to the end and it just all comes together. So if that happens for you, and sometimes it doesn't come together, but you figure it out. Okay, so I really like the way that looks now. Now my challenge is to see if I can recreate that and get it all stuck down. So these two are laying on top, so I'm going to remove them for now and show you a trick that I haven't tried yet, but we're going to try it right now for the first time because I think it will work really well to adhere these, okay? How to glue down this gold hoop seems like a little bit of a challenge because I'm probably not going to be able to put glue directly on the back of that without getting it everywhere else. So what I'm going to do is spread out some glue very thin. If you wanted to, you could grab a sponge and spread that out even more so in a thin layer. And I'm going to drop my hoop right on there. I don't really want to move it around much because I don't want the glue on the sides of this. So I did get glue a little bit on the sides of it, so I'm going to wipe that off with my fingers before I put this down. Now, I want to make sure I get this in the center, so I'm going to drop it right there and not move it, okay? Now I'm going to do the same thing with these. I'm just going to drop those down. Now that I have done this, I'm thinking, how am I going to pick that up without getting my glue, my fingers all in it? And I need my take your pick tool. Take your pick tool. Where are you, my friend? Not sure, so I'm going to do this with my fingers. Your take your pick tool is perfect for jobs like this because it will pick up. You can use that sticky end to grab and pull that up and not have to get your fingers in this glue. So we'll stick those down. Okay, so when you drop things and start getting glue everywhere, you are not the only one. Okay, glue. Right here. Yes, this is all over my fingers at this point, which was not supposed to happen because my take your pick tool was supposed to rescue me, but it has wandered off. So with our multi-purpose glue, which I love this stuff, but it is very sticky, it dries on your hands, just roll it up and then kind of rub your hands together and it will come right off. No big deal. Okay, now I need to do these two. This will be a card that will be challenging to mail. Now, I mail a lot of thank you packages to my customers, and when I have bigger packages anyway, it's not a big deal to stick one of these cards inside. But you would either need to add additional postage for this, or this can just be one of those cards that you add to a gift or to give to somebody in person. Okay, I love that. I think that looks really cool. Now I just need to finish it off. Now is like the, okay, I really like that, but how am I going to finish this? That's where we're at now. I'm sure you've had that feeling before. So this is something I like to do sometimes, is look at my greetings, and sometimes like a round or square greeting looks the best with what you're doing. Sometimes the long skinny ones look really nice. Sometimes just a little teeny one is perfect. So which one of these? I actually think all of these would look nice, but just for fun, I think I'm just going to do a little tiny hello and not take away from any of what we already have going on, because I think that's so pretty. So I'm going to ink up this hello stamp with, you know, I just inked it with my garden green, but I'm going to change my mind because I'm allowed to, right? And I had my soft sea foam out as well. That's the other color we have in the background. I don't think I mentioned that. So I think I'm going to try my soft sea foam. Going along with the idea of not taking away from what we already have going on here, I think that muted color for the greeting will do the same thing and not take away from that. So if I wanted to take a couple more minutes, I would grab some of my special punches. We have a couple. We have a Banners Pick-a-Punch and a Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch right now that make really pretty ends on your little tags, but I did not pull them out ahead of time, so I won't do that now. Okay, so I think I want to add that in. I don't know where or how exactly. And I'm thinking I may want a little bow. This is just going to be like a whole collection of embellishments on this one, I think. And I don't think I want that Forever Greenery trim on this one. This one, I think I'm just going to use some linen thread. So when this comes off of the little spool, you can see we have like crazy curly cues. If you just grab it tightly and run your hand all the way along there, look. Now, if only those of us with curly hair who don't want our curly hair could do that to our hair, then life would be amazing, right? I feel like you're getting some more of my crazy commentary today since I don't really know what I'm doing and I just need to fill time. Okay, so we'll make a little bow. If you don't know how to tie a bow, if you struggle with this, check out my 10 tips for tying a perfect bow video, because there are some really great tips in there and a couple of different sort of like cheater methods for tying a bow. And you are guaranteed to find something in that video that's going to help you tie those bows. Okay, I really like that right there, but right when I get to this stage, I don't really want to attach anything down yet because I'm afraid I'll put something on and then not like where it is. So, okay, I am going to add, I think I'm going to add a few of these as well. So I think I want that hello where it is, above the gold hoop and below that embellishment. So to get it there, I am just going to put one embellishment, what are these? Dimensionals, on the back of here. It sticks in there. I can feel that it's getting stuck in some of that glue in there. So we'll do that. Now I could add my little bow with glue if I want to wait on it to dry, but I don't really want to right now. So I'm going to show you a trick with our glue dots. They are perfect for attaching your bows, but they're too big for twine and little embellishments like this. So I'm going to roll this up with my finger, get it nice and thin, and then it should fit behind there nicely and not get stuck to whatever else whatever's going to be on top of this, whether it's your envelope or if you end up stacking it up with cards, you don't want it to get stuck to there. Oh, I like that. Now I'm going to add some of these, and I'm debating whether I want to spread them around out here or actually just put them like little berries on our wreath. And you know what? I think I'm going to do that. This is like super fun. I'm going to have to make some more cards with these hoops and these little wooden elements. Oh, I love this. You're probably all like, what is going on with her? I'm like way too amused, I know. Oh, that is just so cute. If somebody sent me this, it would make my day better. So I hope that when I send it, that it makes someone else's day better, okay? All right, let's look at what we've done so far. So we have a real simple one with the designer paper, the thinking of you. Here we did our stamping with the ferns. Now we've had lots of fun with a couple of different embellishments. So we are doing one more, and on this one, we are going to use another embellishment that I love. I have not used these a lot, but they are so pretty, and every time I have used them, I've really liked what I made. So since we're doing square cards, I figured these square vellum doilies would be perfect. I just need to decide how to layer some things, which I wouldn't have to. I could just put this right on the card, but I think I want to do some layering. And you know, I think I want this garden green to be just larger than the doily. So I'll bring my trimmer back in, and you can see how I do this sometimes. I don't always actually measure. Sometimes I just lay things on here and think, look like, okay, I want this green to be a little bit larger than this doily. I'm going to lay my doily where I want it. This is going to give me a little bit of a border over here on the edge. Same thing, we'll turn it this way. And now we have a garden green mat for our doily. And that is pretty. Let's see what it looks like with something behind it. And I'm thinking I might want more of this fern print to show behind it. So I'll grab one of the big ones and see how that looks. I think I kind of like that. Now it doesn't have to stay centered. We could, oh yeah, I think we'll offset this. Okay, so I think I'm going to attach it like this. I do not know what is going on top, but we shall figure that out later. Please let me know if a video like this is helpful for you, or if you prefer to see me show up and be 100% prepared and just make whatever I have planned for the day. I know there are benefits to both of these types of videos. This takes a little longer, but you get to see some of that process I go through with figuring out what I'm doing, because I don't always know, contrary to the way it looks sometimes. Now I'm having my I need to straighten up moment. So, okay. I don't want to attach this where I'm going to attach this doily wherever I have something covering it up. I'm just going to put like one dab of this, which will hold it really well, but I want to make sure it's behind something else that's going to cover it up. So I better figure out what that will be. So what shall we do here? Look at the greetings. I really like this "you can do this" one. I think we need to use that. So I'll pull in one of my thin strips, and this will be a test to see if I can stamp straight today, especially on paper that is not laying flat. And I can't really get my head right above this, so it's a little tricky. You know, I think that looks pretty good. I think we will go with that. So I will trim that. You can do, here's a little trick I'll show you. If you want a little banner end, you can trim in from the center, and then use your snips and cut to that line. So if you don't have one of our special punches, you can do this. It's not quite as perfect, but it works. So I feel like we need something else. And you know what? Here's another fun trick, and I might luck out because I feel like it needs something. So if you ever have extra pieces or stamp pieces or die cuts from a set, I like to store them in my cases. And someday when I grow up and I get organized, I am going to you can put our clear envelopes, attach them to the inside of your case and put these little pieces in there so that they don't fall all over the place like mine are. But because I had these prepped and ready from another project and I didn't actually use them, I can pull them out now, and I feel like this project needs some of this. So I think we'll make a little cluster of ferns over here and then somehow add this tag in. So since I know that, I will just put some adhesive in this area to attach that doily down. Now we can start adding these one by one. And I really like to add, when I do something like this, I like to attach some directly to the paper, to the card, and then I like to pop some of them up as well. So you can do this different ways. You can use glue. I find that sometimes I do it one way, sometimes I do it another. I don't really have a method to my madness with how I attach pieces like this. Okay, so then maybe I'll attach a couple of those. I like this. You can do this. I think I want to cover up the very end of it. So I think I'll attach it in there and then put these these are petal pink, put those in last. So I use a couple of our mini dimensionals on this one, even though I do think our regular ones would fit behind that. Slide that under that fern a little bit, attach it there. Now I think I'll probably use all three of these. So I'll put a dimensional on the back of each one of them. It's pretty nice having some of those pieces already prepared and ready. So that's something you can do if you're ever having a day where you want to craft, but you don't really know what to make, and maybe ideas are not flowing freely that day. You can sit down and stamp and die cut some pieces and just have them on hand for another day when you got your mojo back. So here's the great debate. What do I do with this last one? It's looking awfully symmetrical. I can't just have three in a big circle. Okay, we'll go with that. I think I have some kind of complex. I'm not sure. I feel like I need some formal training in design, because sometimes I know, like, that doesn't look right, or that looks awesome, but I have no idea why, and I probably can't recreate it. So, okay, we need some little sparkles. We use some of these. And there isn't much rule or order to how I put these on. Someday I think I'm going to come up with some kind of plan for like how to spread out your little gems and embellishments in a way that looks good, but so far I have not come up with that. Okay, I think we just made 4 cards. So here we go. We have a couple of really simple ones. We have a couple of stepped up ones. We use lots of different embellishments here. We got to use that pretty designer paper. And you got to see some of the process that I go through when I make cards like this. So let me know what was good about this video. Let me know what you didn't like, what I can improve. I want to make the kinds of videos that are helpful to you and that you're going to want to watch along with in the future. So you can get more ideas and inspiration on my blog at scrappingstampingandstuff.com. Give me a like and a comment, and I hope to see you again next time.